One of the gentlemen from Melba's up on Greenmount Avenue. And about a year and a half ago, I was telling this man about the documentary I was going to do. I'm going to let this man tell you what we was arguing about at the bar. Oh, tell him who you is and everything.
Okay. Tim Times, www.jhu.edu. I can't remember the argument.
But we were just having a discussion about racism in the judicial system. We was talking about how we getting locked up on the astronomical rates.
That's definite. It does occur.
And I'm going to send this man a videotape of everything I've been doing, but this is one of my people here when I was doing the underground. I was talking about doing this, and he loved my ribs.
Yeah. But you brought us down some that about a week or two later, me and a couple of buddies, and they were good. That's why I grabbed you today. I saw you walking. I remember that brother from Chicago. That's why I grabbed you.
All right. Well, okay. Thank you very much.
You got my email address.
I got your email address, but we're gonna write it down because I gotta have it written down. I ain't good with memory in the camera.
All right.
But we got you on. You want to be a part of this?
Okay, because that's www.jhu.edu. I'm on there. Okay.
Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, published in 1852, rocked the nation with its brutal revelations. Though a work of fiction, it was based on the lives of real people with whom the author was acquainted, including Lewis Clark, who lived in Sugar Grove. The book sold 300,000 copies within 1 year and was immediately translated into 19 languages. By 1860, there were more than 1 million copies circulating in the United States and more than 2 million abroad.
About slavery.
President Lincoln himself said that the publication of Uncle Tom's Cabin did more to bring about the Civil War than any other single event. Stowe rightfully believed that it was only through the eyes of the fugitive slaves themselves that the nation could truly understand the horrors of slavery and what it meant to finally be free.
What is the difference in my documentary than this? How you gonna know how they treat prisoners in Lake County, Illinois if somebody don't tell you about it firsthand? This like Uncle Tom's Cabin, except this is prisoners in Lake County.
No one knows the anguish they suffered, leaving 3 of their children behind. What we do know is they pressed on for 2 years, finding strength and courage with each.
Let my people go. Way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Today's Sunday, December the 28th, and Lake County is slave catching.
Butler to Tanning and Erie before leaving for St. Catharines, Ontario. There, he managed his own farm and earned a commission in the local militia.
I served in the Navy.
Was finally at an end.
My journey is nowhere near an end.
Of earning your own living must have meant to a slave whose all of his labor went to the master's property.
That was Buddy Feldman and Jim Hammond.
Here are people who
and Jake Davis. See that National Park Service Underground Railroad? That's my thing. Shorty's Underground Rib Shack. I gave y'all a hint. Told you this was the Ghetto Da Vinci Code. Everything I did, I planned. Everything I said I was going to do, I've done. Now I'm going to expose everybody and everything for what it is. I'm a modern day abolitionist. I'm a political prisoner in America. I'm living in exile in my own country because I spoke up against the racism that exists in the judicial system. No different than Frederick Douglass, no different than Marcus Garvey, no different than Malcolm X, no different than Martin Luther King. Every time has a person of change. I'm just that person of change.
My boy Edward, who will be 6 years next January, is now reading, and I intend on keeping him at school until he becomes a.
We need to educate our youth, and that's what I'm doing. I'm educating the youth because they have no knowledge of the past.
Than in all my life in the land of bondage.
Man.
Yours with much respect, Joseph Taper.
To understand the best of America, the values of fair play and equality and justice and the happiness that is brought by living in America, it is also necessary to understand the worst, the racial intolerance, the violence, the brutality. And by looking back at slavery, we can understand the worst, and perhaps it will help us in understanding our present values and attitudes.
Our present values and attitudes haven't changed because the worst is still existing. 1 million black men locked up in a penal institution.
As he reported back,
Modern day slavery. We traded the plantation for the penitentiary and cotton for cocaine.
He said, I have captured the coast. As a consequence of capturing the coast, I have secured their land. Without their land, they will have no history. Without their history, they will have no future. We need to prove Vasco da Gama wrong.
I think it's
We need to know our history so we can have a future. That's what this documentary is about.
Because there's nothing that compares to walking in the places where these people walked and looking at the landscape and
I showed you what I did. You got a diary, everything that's been happening to me over the last 30 years.
what it must have been.
You got the inmate signatures. You got the inmates telling their stories, just like the slaves told their stories. You done changed slave ships for penitentiary and county jails. Free labor. Money. Cash crop system. People are turned into cotton.
This American earth and sisterhood and brotherhood.
The Underground Railroad, it gives us an opportunity to unite American history.
And that's what I'm doing with my Underground Railroad.
It's the history of this.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm just following my history and doing my
See
roots.
how important ordinary people can be in changing the world and creating extraordinary events.
There are parallels in today's society. You think of the resistance to the San Salvador.
Same
or you think
parallels right here.
Draft resistance. And it's something that's unpopular.
I'm a resistance.
But people did it and were willing to bear the consequences.
And I bore the consequences. 163 days falsely in prison for a crime I didn't commit. Just because I was making a documentary about racism in the judicial system in Lake County, Illinois. Frederick Douglass taught me this. Malcolm X taught me this. Stephen Biko taught me this.
Especially the young
Al McLean taught me this.
to take their tape recorders and pen and paper in hand, go and sit at the feet of their elders and listen. Take down their stories.
I took down them stories. Now my kids are going to take down my story.
American history.
This is American history.
Still relatively
The ugliness of your American history.
And there are people who today are living volumes. But once they die, we lose a great deal.
That's why I videotaped this. When I'm dead, everybody can see it.
Women and men, rich and poor, Protestants, Catholics, and Jews come together to accomplish a major social change.
And that's what I'm going to
So when
do.
you look at the abolitionist movement,
I'm a black abolitionist in 2009.
to rid America of its most obvious contradiction. Human bondage in the land of human freedom. Those people were some of the most patriotic people you can possibly imagine. They took their responsibilities as citizens seriously.
I'm an honorably discharged veteran of the United States Navy.
Responsibility of citizenship seriously.
I take care of my neighbors. You seen those signatures in the petitions?
They love the country.
Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, rich, poor. They standing behind this.
That it would never be that if they did not step.
All I want is my freedom and my life back. And until I do, this is how I'm going to treat you. I'm going to give it to you in an educated, radical way. You cannot deny me my freedoms and my rights under the Constitution of these United States. You better get on board. The more longer you take, the more people gonna see this. That's what we do, baby. We make things happen. You better get on board this underground. See you tomorrow. Monday morning mail is going out.